Live.
Yep, we are live.
All right. So, good morning, Mr. Weir.
Good morning, Mr. David.
Where you want to start? You want to start driving, and I'll
no
give
problem.
it over your shoulder.
Sounds like a plan.
Okay.
First question of homework number 1: arrays, hashes, and enumerables. Define a method sum array that takes an array of integers as an argument and returns the sum of its elements. For an empty array, it should return 0. Run associate test, RSpec part 1, spec line 5. Okay, so I'm gonna start here.
Okay. So we got a few different requirements. Right?
Requirements. Yep. Looks like we have 2 requirements to fulfill. First requirement, I'm gonna write this one. This one's kind of easy for empty array should return 0. Okay, so I'm gonna do return 0 if array empty question mark.
Okay. Array empty.
So this should.
Yeah. You know, I've been, my code's been getting tighter and tighter as I've been messing around with Ruby. We don't even really need the return statement. It's just a point to note. I mean, 0 if array empty would also work. Which one reads more clearly? I think it's an open question. I think some people would say one way and some another. Right?
Yeah.
You know, I'm used to writing things explicitly because that way there's no confusion. So I would be inclined to write it that way too, but I think it would work either way.
Okay. Let's try it either way.
Yeah. Go ahead, and we can run the test either way. All right.
CD, where am I?
Boom, boom, boom.
Homework. There we go. Lost my train of thought for a second. Bang, bang.
Did you save the file after the edits?
Sure, I just did. I don't think I did it the first time.
Yep. Yeah.
Let me change this. So this is.
And we got the Part 1 spec R5. Yeah, that's the first one.
Okay, now it comes back. Works on empty array, 10 points. Now we have to solve the return correct sum, which is 20 points. And to do that, let me read that question again. We're looking at define a method, sum with the parameter of the array that takes an array of integers as an argument and returns the sum of its elements. Now, I was able to find a method call that does that, reduce. And if I remember correctly, she goes something like this.
But wouldn't we put that under the other? Inside the other the definition of the method to which it refers.
This inside the sum array method.
Right, but I think you're. I'm sorry. aren't we working on max 2 sum?
No, no. Oh, sum array. Yeah, yeah. I didn't finish sum array.
Oh, okay. Oh, all right, all right.
So okay. So here we go.
All
Let me
right,
just run
right,
this test. It should be.
right.
Okay. So we're able to wrap up sum array.
Okay, cool.
Max 2 sum.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Next question. Okay, stop flipping around. Here we go. Define a method max 2 sum array, which takes an array of integers as an argument and returns the sum of its 2 largest elements. For an empty array, it should return 0.
For an
For an
array
array with just one
element,
element, it should return that element.
element.
Run associated tests. This is
So it's kind of 3 elements to this.
three parts.
3 requirements.
Requirements. Yep. All right. So you kind of know the answer. For an empty array, it should return 0.
So yeah, same thing you got above, right?
Above, right. So define a method which takes an array of integers as an argument and returns the sum of its 2 largest arguments.
Mm-hmm.
Return the sum of the 2 largest arguments. So what we do.
Seems that to find the 2 largest,
Can
we
we
would
do?
have to
Go ahead.
organize the array or something, right?
Right. So we could do array.
And you could also do a max and remove 1 and look for another max. That would seem a long way around, maybe.
Sort. Just hold on. Let me pull up my.
Yeah. Yeah. If you use the bang, it'll overwrite the sort, and the sorted array will overwrite the unsorted array.
Right.
Which, you know, alternately you could assign it to a new sort, to a new array, a new variable.
Okay, so here we go. We could do, if I'm not mistaken, where are you, Maurice? Here we go. Array sort. Type X, Y, I, A. Oh, well, it would help if I did the, here we go. And do Y.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about that?
I think. Let's see. What would that do? That would X
So
and Y would be.
this is saying sort. I could do A to B, A to Z, really, and then Z to A. So it's pretty much sorting, descending, which is what we would want for the largest to find the largest. Yes or no?
Well, yeah, yeah, and I think the Y spaceship X, that doesn't cause the sort to act in a descending fashion. I don't think. I mean, does it?
Should. Well, let's see. Based on the
Oh, I see. I see what you're looking at. Yeah. Huh. Because if you want to, well, of course, if you want to return true, then Y is going to be greater than X, right? To return a positive 1 or a 0. If it returns a -1, it's going to be false. The spaceship operator is what I'm thinking of.
Right.
Yeah, because that block acts as a
Passing.
truth. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
Go ahead. Let's see what it does.
See what happens. All right. So read me. Here we go. Where is our RB23?
Yeah, that's a cool syntax.
That's what I like about Ruby. There's so many ways to skin a cat. It's like,
yeah.
You know, but as we work through it, you get better on how to refactor it down.
Yeah, and it comes pretty quickly. I'm getting to where I can read the stuff, and it's should be defined. Returns the correct sum.
Receiving flash, two values are the same. Nope. Returns are zero.
Well, presently all we've done is sort the array.
Right. So now I need to do.
Yeah. Grab which elements you think might be the ones you need, right? So for every x and y that you pass, how does it know to take the x and y as two elements of the array? That's what I'm a bit baffled by. Because the construct of that block, x and y, is it says sort of for each element. And how would it know which two elements to take out of an array? I understand looking at the documentation too, but
oh no, this is not picking out the. This is not pulling. We just sorted it descending. So now I would have to actually.
So in comparison between A and B and return an integer less than 0 when B follows A, 0 and A and B are equivalent, or an integer greater than 0.
Oh, so what I should be able to do, I could sort it. I don't have to. I could sort it. Hold on, let me see something. Okay, so let me just do a quick little change here. Where am I? Here, I think I could do this. What is it? -1.
-1. Okay. Is the last element.
And -2 is the second to last. Do I have to do them in? Should be able to do it like this, right?
I think you need to add them, don't we?
It says right here. Works even two largest numbers are the same. So array 1.
So you got two elements. You need two references to the array.
Right, but they want us to works even two largest values are the same.
But like array brace -1 close brace references one element. Brace -2 doesn't reference anything. No, I don't think so. But go ahead.
You don't think that'll work?
No, because you're not adding anything.
Got you. I see what you're saying.
Right. So the array notation is AAR bracket -1 close bracket. That references one value, and you need to add that to another value, square bracket. Yeah. So you add that to the other value. Yep. Yeah. I don't think you need the dot though.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's okay. And
a little bit.
Yeah, you gotta separate. And I think that if the sort method sorts but doesn't, the method returns a value, which is another array. And without the bang, you're still referencing the original array. If you follow what I mean. So if you put array dot bang, sort bang, then that that reorders, it reassigns
Right, but the bang,
ARR to that, to the sorted array.
the bang,
Hmm.
the way just give you the way I'm.
Yeah.
So the bang both will sort or sort bang, but sort bang changes the array permanently.
Well, it overwrites the array.
Existing array, correct.
Right. So, for example, if the array were 1, 2, 3, 4,
Mm-hmm.
and you used sort without a bang, I'm sorry, it wasn't 1, 2, 3, 4. It was 4, 2, 3, 1.
Right.
Okay. Then the last element in the array that you're trying to add would still be 1, and the second to the last would still be 3. Whereas if you use sort bang, then ARR now points to a reordered array that's sorted. So
Got you.
So in that sense, yeah, if I may, if you wrote array new equals sort, then you wouldn't need the bang, but you'd have to reference array new down here, right?
I see what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah, and if you don't want to change, the original array reference, that might be what you want to do. But in this case, I don't think it matters. And I was wrong about the return 0. You absolutely need that return.
Okay. No problem.
Because otherwise it wouldn't return. It would just
return. Right.
0 is, they go on to the next step. Right. Yeah. Think too hard. I'll tie my shoelaces together.
You know what? And it's crazy because a lot of times I find that it's overthinking a problem.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the greatest way to learn. All right, so
there's no substitute for practice
at all. Not at all. Not for this stuff anyway.
Mm-mm.
All right.
So how are the tests looking?
An empty array. All right, one element, it should return that element. An associated test. Returns the sum of the two largest numbers. Empty array should return 0. So one plus argument 2 should be return 0 if the array is empty. Okay, we know the answer to that. Return 0 if the array. I'm not worried about that. Work
Right.
even if two largest elements are the same.
Did we save the file before we ran?
No, I didn't save it yet. Save it now. Save it. So let me do
Or is Guard running this stuff automatically for you, or are you?
No. I was playing around and
Okay.
I didn't finish this. I was like, you know what? I should have finished it, but I was like, no, I don't want to skip through. I wanted to hit each one. Okay, so we have 2 here.
Okay.
Returns the correct sum. Works even if two largest sums are the same.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense.
Return 0.
Have we been at this for 15 minutes or so? I think basically it's graded on that, among other things. So whenever you're comfortable, we can switch off.
Okay, no problem. Let me get through this and then we'll
Sure,
switch off on the last one.
Yep. Okay.
So empty and returns value of the element if just one element. Returns value of the element if just one element.
So we got if the array had only one element, it would have a an identifiable length or count or
Right.
right. So we could put a test for that.
So
Set up a test.
a test on this piece, return value of the element if just one element.
Yeah.
All right. So
Yeah. So you do it with an if statement, I suppose.
so let's go if
Are there any methods that return the size of the array?
I'm here.
sure there probably is. That's how wonderful Ruby is. It's a matter of finding.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I think length would do it. I think there's one called count too.
I think count might be what we're looking for. Count array. Returns the number of elements. If an argument is given, counts the number of elements which equal object is using is equal to.
So if you had a particular value, you could count how many of those are in the array. Oh, that's cool.
Array count 4, array count 2. It'll give us 2 2s. Okay. And then array count x divided by 2, 0, 3 equal to 0. Okay. So you won't believe what I just did. No worries. I'll fix it right now. So I had my document open, and of course, try to move it over and close the Ruby docs.
Yeah, I get so many windows open that it's.
Here we go.
Yeah.
And it's coming up with an error on our other one too, but I will fix that in a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Array. Something as well. Okay.
So maybe you have to do a test on the value that length returns.
So to do the test on the value,
You could use an if or an unless or.
equal to 0.
Or we're looking to satisfy it if it has. What's the requirement?
This one is returns value of the element if just one element
Okay. So its length would be
equal to 1.
Alright.
Length is equal to 1. Then we will return.
Return what?
An array.
Yeah. Well, return the value, right?
Right. Return the value, which
Would you? Now, the if an array has only one member,
Mhm.
does a reference to array return the value of it, or do you have to reference?
identify that the position in the array.
Yeah,
So you're thinking 0?
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
Let's try both. Why not?
Yeah.
But I do have an error here I'm seeing, and it's coming back.
Yeah.
Silly
Well,
error.
you got max returns array if empty, failure error. I think with your if statement, you might need an end after that return, and that could cause spooky error.
Okay.
What?
Undefined method plus new class.
You know what?
For the array plus.
Yeah, our first thing, there's no return statement above that, right? So
That's my thing. I'll switch it up a little bit.
yeah, if you do them in order, well, even so, you add them, but that won't return unless that's like the last thing in the method. So you have to either explicitly return array -1 plus array -2, or move it to the bottom.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Similar to return 0 if array is empty. If that were the only statement, you could leave it with just 0 if array empty. But because there's other stuff in there.
Okay, so I could just put a return in here then.
Mm-hmm. Maybe not exactly like that.
Okay.
The reason is that each return will exit the method.
Yeah.
And so if you return array -1 plus array -2, what would happen if there were only one element? You'd probably get some kind of an index error because it'd be trying to return that. Or it would return a nil and never get to your next.
Right.
Never get to your next, clause, your next test.
Mm-hmm. So we gotta fix this. Two largest elements are the same. So turns if the two largest elements are the same. I have to add these, or could I do a
well, I don't think you have to. I mean, what's the simplest way to do this? I think that if let's say you had an array with 4 elements, and there was a 1, there's a 2, and there's a 3 and a 3,
Mm-hmm.
and you sort it, the 3 and the 3 are going to be in the last 2 positions,
Right.
right? So all you have to do is add them. But in the flow of the method itself, it might be, it would seem to me that I'd want to make the simplest test first and return if that's met, because then you don't have to process the other code. And then take the next simplest test and return. And keep doing that and leave for the very last test the most complicated one, and it'll just return whatever that value is. If everything else, you know, for example, like there's not 0 elements, and there's not 1 element. If you wanted to do something special because there were 2 elements, then you'd write, you know, return if, you know, array length is 2. But in this group of requirements, the adding of the 2 highest values is sort of the last. It's the last. It's the most complicated case.
Okay. Let me pull this out for now. Let's run what we have. I can get back to that shortly.
Yeah. See what this does.
Okay. So on this one,
value of the element, right?
Turns value of the element is just 1 away. Okay, we have those 2. Turns the correct sum.
Yeah, that's the adding of the 2.
2. Okay.
Highest ones. So what I'm suggesting is it's the order in which you call those tests that matters. So if you were to uncomment that line right now,
right,
I don't think it won't pass all the tests. You go ahead and try it, and you'll see.
And it's telling me you could tell in the editor there's a right on line 13 there's a possible showing an error.
And because adding two elements returns something, because every statement returns something, but you don't do anything with it.
Right, and putting that there, the error, then we don't even run the rest of the code. It fails right there. We never get to the if statement.
Right. So like if you made if you make a test out of everything, and you say, if you were to say, if array.length is greater than 1, then return the sum of the last 2. That would work. You follow what I'm saying? Because, see, like, if I may, I'll just
go ahead.
Return if array.length is greater than 2. Return this. Come on. So that would work. Does it test out? Oops, I'm sorry. No, it's got to be greater than 1.
Switch to your screen.
Okay. This is spec. This one here.
Return array 1 plus array 2 if array length greater than 1.
And the important
That test, I think it's test 23.
Oh, is it? It's not 42? I'm way off the screen here, I guess. I don't. What am I in here? Quit. Boy, I don't know what I'm in here. What the heck?
That's weird. I see something over here.
Yeah, I've found some strange things go on with the terminal window sometimes.
When we connect, yeah.
Um,
All right. I can run it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Save, yeah, it's saved. Let me see if I can run it here.
Yeah, it should run on the same code.
David, you're awesome. But let me fully understand what we did just now. So
yeah.
So I had what I was missing, as you stated here, is the return. We need to return.
Well, let me illustrate a little more clearly. And then we can remove this end. Okay, so you've got 3 tests, right?
Right.
And each one has a return statement, and it tells you what to return if if the certain condition is met. You return a 0, or you return the single element if there's only one in the array, and if there's more than one, then you return the sum of the 2 largest. And that's clean, because no matter which, if the if fails, then that statement doesn't return anything.
Doesn't return anything. Gotcha.
Right. And that's pretty clean. But what I was trying to explain is you could make it even a little simpler, and I'm not even sure if this is good, bad, or indifferent. But if you come down here and place this one, the most complicated one, last, you don't even need the return statement, because if neither of the other 2 are true, then this one has to be true. That is, if the array, I mean, the other test you could do would be if the array is nil.
Right. Okay.
Right. And maybe that's a valid test to run as well. And maybe these test cases aren't written tightly enough, if you know what I mean.
Understood.
I mean, there's no test in there to check if it is nil, and I don't even know if that's possible in Ruby. Maybe a 0, maybe an empty array is nil. It probably is. My guess is that right there would pass as well, and that's what I was getting.
Coming up with an error at all. Let's see what happens. Okay, I'm gonna run it right now.
Okay. Okay.
That ran clean.
Okay. So
right, I see.
You see?
Okay. So it was just the placement of our last 2.
Yeah, it's the order in which you process. And that's why when you had just returned 0 up here, and I forgot that there was another part to that method, and I thought, oh gee, if that's the only statement in there, you don't even need the return statement, because nothing else, the last statement executed returns. But I'd forgotten that there was the reduce to add the sum of all of them. You got to read the requirements carefully.
Oh no, definitely, yeah, 100%.
You think we should switch over now?
It's up to you. And we could hit the next one if you want me to hit it. If you want to hit it.
Yeah. Well, I think it'll probably grade better for you, because you're supposed to, you're supposed to switch off after.
Oh, okay. So yeah, let's do that then. I'm sorry.
Yeah. And that's all. And we can continue going through some more of this. That's fine. It helps me to keep writing it. I see different things every time. Every time I see different things going through it again now. It's cool. I like Ruby. So what our requirements are, pardon me, define a method sum to n that takes an array and takes a number, and his arguments returns true if any two elements in the array of the integers sum to n. Should return false for any value of n. By definition, run associated tests. Okay, so should return false. All right, well, takes an array of integers and returns true if any two. So it seems to me that I need a copy of the array so that I can go through
Iterate through it.
array copy. It's not proper syntax. Array copy. Assign array to array copy.
Mm-hmm.
So now I got two copies of the array, and and inside of array, I want to grab each element. So for each element in the array, I want to put this in a do. Array dot each do and go through array copy dot each and call that
Alright, cool. I'll bring it to him. You have some water, so no, come and get it yourself.
call that EC. I get into insert mode.
Okay.
E2 or whatever. I could probably call it E because I think you can overload them that way, but I don't like that. So for each EC, test if E plus, I like E2 better. Yeah, E copy is n. If, whoops. Oh, I said of, if. If the sum of those is n, then do what? Return? Return true.
What's the word?
Return true.
No.
That does a bunch of it. I don't think it does everything. Because what if... Okay, wait a minute. What if return false if E is n? Otherwise, go ahead and see, that's where I can use in the same way. You kind of return, you can check for the simplest test and just bag the method if you got a return, right? So you don't have to go through the whole line 21, because if E, return false for any value of n by definition. I take that to mean any if n is equal to an element in the array.
In the array, correct.
Right.
Array copy each.
Yeah, if
each copy. This your pipe, you have to change that to underscore copy.
pipe here. Oh, you're right. Right, you are. Are you seeing error flags on your editor? Because I'm not.
Yeah, I see them come up So right now
Oh, do you see any others?
we have a
I don't see any.
No, we're looking pretty. We're looking good.
Okay.
Unexpected. Oh, you need an end. You need another end
I do?
for the do statement. When we did do if.
Right.
End.
That end there should match that.
That end is for the definition. Then we have a do.
Oh, there's right. And there's an end right there, line 22.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I didn't even see it.
Yeah. And this is just a statement that just executes, and that's just a statement. Does I can try and run the test here. Let's see if it.
Let's see what happens.
Let's open up the terminal window here. I gotta change directory to W Ruby intro and yeah, see, it's like not
Hanging.
just taking me to a weird prompt.
Actually, gotta save this file too. Save. There we go.
Huh. There's something a little quirky about how the bash window, the terminal windows work, and I don't totally understand it. But can you run the test from there?
Bash hung up. Open a new
Yours
one.
is hung up too, huh? They're still working on this product, I guess.
I mean, she's very. It's nice. I actually like when we can collaborate. So,
Oh, I do too. I think it's great, and I think I'm just kidding. Expecting keyword end. Well, son of a gun. Oh, huh.
Okay.
There's an error.
Hold on 1 sec. So she's expecting an end on. Where are you?
Give us a line in method body.
21.
21, huh?
Right. But that's our block.
Yeah, I know. Let me just replace it. Sometimes you do things the old-fashioned way.
Sometimes, yeah. It just makes life so much easier sometimes. And
Whoop. Return true. And now you got a bunch of ends. Does that make you any happier? Warning, mismatched identification at 22. See, I don't get those warnings here.
with if. Oh, okay. So we have
If equals it. Oh, you know what? I wonder. Yeah.
If statement. Yep.
Yeah. Yep.
There we go.
Editor. Yeah, it was right again. That I better run.
Run it now. Hold on 1 second.
Sure. I don't love it.
For example, failures. Let's see what we got here.
Should be if it returns true when any two elements sum to the second argument. Failed.
Returns false if any single element array. For any single element arrays, returns false for an empty array.
For an returns false for any single element array. Oh, well, they didn't. Is it? Oh, that's part one.
I'm sorry, sum to n?
See, that's intro part one, sum to n. Why would that be failing now?
That's what we're on though, sum to n.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Question 3.
Yeah, all right. You're right. Okay. All right. Yeah.
That's why collaborative programming is the best.
That's right. Wait a minute. What? Your left hand to your other left hand, right? All right. So, but were those requirements in this one? In
So this
this part
one
three?
said here, takes
Takes
an
an array of integers.
integers, an additional array, and as an argument returns true if any two elements in the array of integers sum to n. Right, that's our true statement. Then should return false if any value of n, for any value of n by definition, and returns false for an empty array. That one doesn't show here, but let's look at the test itself. Yeah, in the test, there's a
They're in
return
there.
false for an empty. Yep.
Okay. Okay. So returns. So those two. Now, return true when any two elements to the sum to the second argument. That any two elements sum to the second argument. All right. So return. Okay. Return false. Now, if e plus e copy equal n, return true. That's not working, huh?
No.
Wonder why. I wonder if E is E copy, what's and? That? And E does not equal E copy. Control S. Will that fly?
You have an error here on syntax error.
If and if
So that put water right outside. So
Okay.
come back here, might want water.
Back there.
Okay. Okay. Huh.
I saw you were deep in thought, so I was like, all right, let's see. That's it. Syntax error, possibly useless. Use of variable and void context. So that could be here, probably.
Yeah, I'm not even sure. Well, I'm not even sure if that's the right. What I was trying to say is not equal to, not. I'm not sure what the not equal to operator is.
Oh, that would be this might not be correct, but let's try it here with a bang.
Might be.
Oh, we didn't get a syntax error, so I think it
Okay.
might recognize something over there.
Yeah. Does that
25.
does that pass any more tests or?
The only I think it says, I think we have one too many ends here. Mismatch indentations at end with if at 25. So
Because there's two ifs.
two ifs.
If I think what this might. E plus E is that. And I don't think I need another if there.
Return
Shouldn't.
true.
It should.
Actually, oh, that everything went away.
Yeah. Because I'm anding the two. So if the first statement is true and the second statement is true, return true. If either one are false, return false.
Agreed.
And so then I would need a return false here. False. Does that pass?
See what happens. No, it's definitely getting caught up. We're not getting any of our elements passed. Our two return falses, nor our return true.
Returns false for any single element array. Oh, because I'm not returning false. Okay. That it. Return false. Return false.
Okay, so that would fix our single array and empty array.
Zero empty array. All right.
Well, those two should pass. Now we have to
Let's
get
see
to
if those clear.
See, yeah, why not? Hold on, you saved it? Okay, I'm gonna head on and test.
Yeah.
For examples, one failure. Where do we fail?
Okay.
So there we go.
Returns true when any two elements sum to the second argument. All right.
All right, so we can probably take out the return false on 29. Think we need it?
20. I think if the only way to exit this loop, this do loop, is with a return true under a condition, there has to be another way out, which would be a return false. So it has to be somewhere. It might well be that it could be control X. It could be up one end. And then it would almost be an else. So let's see, if for each E, we return false if E is N. Okay, so that's taken out. And I'm gonna write this a little differently. Return false if, well, all right. See, if E equals E copy, then I think it also returns false. That's what I was trying to get at here.
Okay.
Maybe I could do it a little more explicitly. If return false if E equals E copy, and then return true if all this, not all that. So if E isn't E copy and E isn't N, then return true if the sums equal N. And if that isn't true, then return false.
Okay. So we have a few syntax errors over here based on the editor.
Uh-huh.
Heads up that we have
Return
unexpected keyword
false
return.
if,
Right.
return true if, unexpected else, expecting keyword end. Oh, because, oh, okay, because I changed the, all right, Control X. Yeah. Does that need an end? No. Control S. Okay, if else end.
Need a pipe
return.
on sorry to interrupt, David.
Yeah,
Need
no,
a
go
pipe
ahead.
on after you do underscore copy,
Yeah.
throw the
Right.
closing pipe up there.
Yeah.
Actually, that just made everything go away. All
That
errors.
just clean. All right. Well, throw that against the wall. See if it don't stick.
You want to run it? See what happens?
Yeah, go ahead. I am not having much luck running the tests from here.
Oh, okay. I'll go ahead and run it.
One failure again.
See what we got. Yeah, we got one failure.
Huh.
It's our return true. And expected true got a false.
Okay. Let me try something.
You want me to run it now?
Yep. Please.
No problem. Same error. Expected true got a false. False. Yeah.
Wonder what the test looks like.
One second, I'll pull it up for you. There we go.
Mm-hmm.
And where are we?
I gotta.
These two are taken care of. What we want is this one right here, the first one. Turn true in any two elements. Sum to the second argument, 30 points. Expect.
Return true. Expect max sum 2, 3, 4, 5 to be kind of returns the correct sum. Returns. See what's it? It's failing. And returns true in any two elements. Sum to the second argument. Return true in any two elements. Sum to the second argument. Okay. Expect sum to n to be true. To be true. No two elements that sum.
This is a tea and some right this on. It's not black tea, it's orange tea. One of the orange tea, black tea, that's black tea.
For examples, one failure. Ruby returns true when 2 plus 3 equals 5. To be true, expected true got false. Ruby. I wonder if I don't need to have a copy of the array.
I remember you and I talked about this before. I think that's what I mean. But we made it work.
Yeah, I recall that too. I believe we did too, and I'm not sure what's different here.
But yeah, I mean, we could eliminate the array copy and just work directly on the array. So
yeah, let's just take that
through the array
out and say,
okay.
I think that still needs to be there.
Turn false, en. Okay. Comment out the array copy each do.
Yeah, I think all that.
Okay.
Just there. Maybe one more.
One more. That end statement right there.
Yeah. All right. So we got an E element, and we say array dot each do for E2, and we say if E plus E2 equals n,
Return true.
return true, else return false. End.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
what's that do? Yeah.
Save it and I run it. See what happens.
Okay, okay. Saved.
Running now. We have
Syntax error.
class definition of syntax error. Method body. Unexpected ending of input. Expecting keyword end.
end. Okay. Return false if. Those don't need ends, do they?
The if?
Yeah, I mean, on a single line.
I'm going up. Hold on here.
Like that. Does that need an end? No.
No.
No, it's just if that, then you return.
Yeah, we were fine. Well,
If I got, and this do here,
we have a do. That's
this
one.
is the end for that. Oh, I'm missing.
We need an end for this if.
I need an end for that do. Whoops.
Do?
Yep. That looks better.
Okay.
That cannot be legal.
Running the test right now. True in any two elements sum to the second argument.
E plus. And it's a simple example. 2 plus 3 should equal 5. How come? Passing an array, passing an n. Let's say if E is do, Control S.
You want me to run it? Make a modification.
Yeah, I did. The test is running from here now, so I just hit it quick.
Okay. Cool.
Failed exam, but it's expected true got false. It's failing in the same thing. Hmm.
Pull up IRB.
Well, I've been at this for 15 minutes. We can switch over. I'm not sure which works better, in terms of grades and things. But I'm looking at code that I made work on another screen, and it's very similar, but it's there's one thing that I did differently. Delete at.
Yeah, because y'all had them out here to update later.
There's one thing that I did differently, and that was to inside here in the first loop, I said I deleted at ADuRoR index of X, so that I couldn't sum the two. I couldn't sum the same value, E.
Okay.
So that in the first loop, so it passes in the value of E into the method, into the do block, which is the anonymous method.
Mm-hmm.
And once you're inside between this do and its end, this array is still out there, and that's why it can get referenced again. But it doesn't want to reuse that same value in this array. So you take that element out of the array that you're going to then add to.
I see what you're saying.
And I'm just wondering if that's what's different. I'm going to try and run this test again. And now I got two failures.
Two failures this time. Wow. Yeah.
Huh. No method error. What? Undefined. Oh, index. And oh, okay. It's
Excuse me. Parentheses.
Yeah. Yeah. Ah. Wrong way. There. This is in parens. As an argument. Four examples, one failure. I'm still failing on that same case. 2 plus 3 equals 5.
Yeah, sure.
Ah, that's what I did. Try something else here. Whoop, not up there. Jeez.
That's method. So we want to.
Just trying to get some of the rubbish out of the way.
Yeah, no, definitely. I'm here reading through reading through the methods as well. Let's see what we could do here.
Son of a pup. Delete that. All right, each do. Delete that. Wow. See, I'm just about down to the code that I had that passed fine. In fact, that's pretty much it. Other than variable names changed a little bit. So that has to run. Unless something really glaring. Each do E. Two different variable names.
Okay, so we put the E2 in its own block.
That passes. That succeeds. Now, question is why?
That is the ultimate question. All right, let's talk through it real quick. See,
right. Now, if I uncomment that line, it's going to fail again. Why?
Okay, recomment that. I wasn't paying attention.
Oh,
return false.
I know why.
We need to return true.
Because if E equals N, say E were 5, and there was a 0 in the array, that would fail. Because it would try to add 5 plus 0, which would be true. So it's misreading the requirements. That the line should it says should return false for any value of N by definition. I don't know what that means.
Right, but we satisfy that in the first. Where were we?
Well, see, I thought what that meant when I read this, it says define a method sum to N that takes an array of integers and an additional integer N as arguments, returns true if any two elements in the array of integers sum add up to N. Okay, that's the one part. Then then it says the method sum to N should return false for any value of N by definition. So I take that to mean, just reading the English, that if the value, the return value of the method equals N, it should return false. But that's not how the tests are written. So for example, if there were a 0 and a 5 in the array, and N equaled 5, well, the addition of 0 plus 5, which is what would come out of the sum to N, would be 5.
Should be true.
Yeah, except if should return false for any value of N by definition. So maybe I'm just not understanding what that means.
Let's go through.
So I'm looking at the README on line 53. You know, it says
So we have define a method something that takes an array of integers.
Yeah.
Additional integer.
The line I just highlighted there.
Right.
So that's the second. That's another requirement
for any value of N.
N by definition.
Right, but we've already addressed that.
Where?
Look in the test. Actually, look right below. Look in my window. So you see
I'm looking.
Sum to N.
Yeah.
We have four parameters. We should be defined as already green. Return false for any single element array, and return false for any
Well, but
empty array.
that doesn't, those requirements don't bear on this part 3 or whatever part we're on here. Or the third.
Yeah, sum to
part.
n. This is our sum to n.
Right. But what you're looking at is, oh, I'm sorry, you're right.
So,
but
we addressed the falses first, and then we were hung up on the true.
yeah, but there are no falses in here right now.
Let me go back real quick.
So if you look at the code as it stands right now, what does that requirement sum to n? You know,
So,
the method should return false.
Right,
for
but here
any
it is. Return
value.
if I'm sorry, I went too high. Oh, I see what you're talking about. Oh, we changed it. Okay.
Yeah, I pulled that stuff out because I was trying to see.
What? The test that I'm looking at is the old test that I ran. This is not the new one. Hold on one sec. Let me just write it down.
Yeah. Pop it again. In fact, I think at the very bottom is the whole. You can run the whole suite.
Oh, sweet, yeah. So, but it still comes back as being the two falses being addressed. Why is that though?
My point. My real question. Yeah, that's my real question.
Okay.
That's my real question. It's like, why isn't this working?
Is equal to n.
Why is this working? Oh, crap.
All right. So I can see the first return being answered for any single element array, because when we iterate through the array, right, we're calling each element, and then we return false if E or if an element is equal to n, which would answer return false for any single element array.
Right, but that causes it to fail. It's only when that's commented out.
All four pass?
Yeah, that's when they pass. If you, I mean, you can
Right
stop recording if you want. I don't mind sounding silly on it, but you're gonna wind up with 2 hours of tape that you're gonna throw back and edit.
Right, cool.
And I think you've got enough in there to demonstrate the pair programming.